We're already recording. Oh, hey Finn. Oh, do I have my notebook? Yes. Have a drink? Yes. We're good to go. Hello. Welcome back to my channel. Thank you for coming. My name is Madeleine. I use she and her pronouns, and I come to you today on the land of the gubby people. And in the spirit of reconciliation, I'd like to pay my respects to the elders past and present and acknowledge their contribution to maintaining the land and their respect for the waterways. Thank you for coming back. This is episode, I have notes. What a change. This is episode number 76, and this is my August in review. I have several finished objects, which is great. You hopefully will have seen my accountability August. I will make sure to link it somewhere here. I vlogged the days that I crafted in August in a hope to get my knitting mojo back a little bit, and I can say for the most part it worked. I didn't finish as much as I had hoped, but I did get some stuff done, so that's brilliant. Yeah, so this is what I knit in August. If you're new here, welcome. How this works is I generally go through like any finished projects, then my works in progress. We talk about like other news or knit and natter or knit and blather. I talk about what's been going on in my life, and also anything that I plan on making in the future, and often I will have like a reading, watching, listening segment. And I do have stuff to share on that front as well. I've been very productive this month. So yeah, I guess let's get started. I'm so excited to show you several finished objects. The first of which I will show again very briefly because I showed in my excitement last month because I'd finished them just before filming. So it's my blueberry waffle socks. The pattern is a freebie. I will link to my Ravelry page below where I have all of the notes and the pattern info about it. So it's a DK weight sock, and these are just house socks that I've knit for myself. The yarn is a homespun house, and it was a club colorway from many years ago, and I was gifted that one in a fibre share, so get that out of the way. My next one, which I'm the most happy to show you, is the basic beanie by Tincanknits. I mentioned it last time. I plan to cast it on. I still have to sew in some loose ends, or weave those in, but I finally finished it. I made the biggest size possible, and it is a yeah, by Tincanknits. I knit the 2x2 rib version, and I also knit the folded over brim version, so it'll look something like this when worn. So this was a really tricky, I spent probably the first 15 minutes of my August vlog telling you how tricky this was. I tried a different cast on method. I've knit 3 or 4 of these hats now. A neighbour has just started doing something. Yeah, what was I up to? Oh, I tried a different cast on method. I can't remember what it was, but I'll link to the tutorial below, and it just gives that a really nice stretchy brim, which I thought would be very important come, I didn't want to be too tight on my friend's head, and I thought it would be really important for having the rolled brim, which is what the plan for this is, though you can just wear it very slouchy if you like. It took me about 4 days to nail the cast on, and then every day that I knit on it I put in a little marker. So this orange marker is like the first 2 days of knitting maybe, and then I did that the next day and the next day, and then this day here, I think that was when I met up with Mel from 3 Cats Yarn, and we knit for like 3 hours together, which was so good. We forgot to take a photo, so I don't have any proof that we were together, but we were on the Noosa River, and it was stunning, and it was so lovely to spend some time with her and meet in person. We've been online friends for like 4 years now, and so yeah, that was great. And it was nice to have some company, so I got a whole lot of knitting done, and then I knit to the decreases. I had a problem, massive problem. I decreased wrong, too fast on one side and not fast enough on the others, so we ended up with a mismatch. I ended up pulling all of the decreases out and then doing them again. Totally worth it. I love how the decreases in this pattern come together. They're so fantastic regardless of whether you do the 1x1 version, the 1x3, or the 2x2 version. Amazing. I think the pattern was maybe like $5 or $10, but I've knit 4 beanies out of it now, so I would say it's definitely like I would buy this one again, and you have lots of options within it, so that's awesome. Happy days. Whoopsies. Let's check the notes. Next finished object, I made these socks here. They are for my dad for Father's Day. The majority of the sock is a Knit Picks Felici. I had the label until just recently. I don't remember what colorway. It's on my Ravelry, I think. And I did a contrasting toe and a contrasting afterthought heel, both of those, with just a West Yorkshire Spinners black yarn, and I knit the tube on my Elbacker Gearhart Speedster on a 72 cylinder. So that's a mouthful. Yeah, so I think I finished these in a weekend. I cranked, I did a hung hem as well, so there's no ribbing on the top, but that should stay up. I'm a bit, I reckon for my dad I could probably have done it on a 64 inch and maybe loosened the gauge, so we'll see how this goes for him. Don't know. But I've got yarn ready to go for another pair, so I want him to try these on. Let me know, and then maybe I'll do a smaller tube. I have, the last pair I made him was on a 72 inch tube as well, and they lasted quite a while, so we'll see. But yeah, so I cranked the tube, cut in this afterthought heel. It just uses Summerlee Sock Designs heel instructions, and then just a rounded toe, or a mostly rounded toe. So for a non-prolific podcaster, I hope to be your relatable online friend who has a YouTube channel. I didn't get a whole lot done, but for me that's amazing. Work in progress. I was hoping to finish 8 of these, and I have only cast on 1. But this is another hexagon in my Polygon blanket by Tincanknits. I'm using Louie and Lola 2020 Advent leftovers. So yeah, knitting on this. I go through spurts and waves, like spurts, that's not the right analogy. Peaks and troughs maybe? Highs and lows? I don't know. I'm really unmotivated for this blanket. I knit like 6 hexies in 2 weeks last month, and this month I've done all that other knitting but also barely knit on this. I just want them out of my life, but then I know I have 48 more, or like 43 more probably after I finish these 8. So yeah, don't know how I feel about that, but that's okay. We will get this one done because I don't have anything else really that's like potato chip knitty on the needles, because my only other work in progress, which hasn't seen any work, so I'll just show you briefly, is my turtle dove, my beautiful turtle dove. This is the pattern, and it's in yarn by 3 Cats Yarn, and it's still like, I've very much only just started. So I've done 1 row since we spoke last because I decided to put a progress keeper on it. So my main priority will probably be this shawl for the next month or so, and those hexies, but it's been like 32 degrees, and today is the last day of August, winter. Oh my god, the last day of winter, and it's already in 32 degrees. So I don't know how long I'm going to go with this Suri alpaca. It is beautiful, but it's so, it'll be warm to knit with, which isn't great, but we will just see how we go. And I also have to pay very close attention with this one because I've made a few mistakes, but nothing a preventative lifeline every kind of section or 2, like a couple of rows, doesn't help. So yeah, that's where we're at for works in progress. News. I already talked to you about meeting Mel, so that was great, super lovely. I picked her up from where she was staying, and we parked down near the Noosa River and just sat and knit in the sun for a little bit, and then we went and got lunch from a burger place that I'd been meaning to try out for a really long time, and I saw one of my students there. He didn't see me, so that was like less awkward, and then I saw another student because I teach in the suburb where we were, but I live further away, so I was just like kind of that, hi, did they say hi? Are they embarrassed to see me? Usually yes, which is fine. So that was really nice to spend some time with Mel. Isabeau! Hey boys! Hello! Hey girl! Yes. You want to say hi to the friends? You haven't made an appearance for a while. Ooh! Hello! Hey baby. Oh, you just been... Oh, get away from that hat. It's been clean. Clean from you. Nice to see Mel. I have been missing my knit night. When I was living back with my parents further north, I was going to knit night in Boreen Point. It's every second Tuesday. It's like, the group is called Knit Shit, and it's held at the pub, and we kind of take up the back room, and it's really great. I haven't gone at all since I moved back here really this term, because it's you know, we meet at 5:30. No, we meet at 6, but I live half an hour, I live 40 minutes away from that venue, and then by the time we're done at like 9 o'clock, it's usually too late for me to drive home, and I've got to feed the cats and blah blah blah. Excuses. I'm really hoping to go during the school holidays. I think they have one, they just had one, so the next one will be week 10, which is no good for me. I'm in the thick of marking, but I will try and go on the school holidays, so that'll be lovely to meet up with some knitters. And then this coming Saturday, my plan is, I've got a ticket, I just have some other family things that have popped up, so I'm really hoping to be able to sort my time out. I'm planning on heading to Brisbane for the Yarn Bowl. I think it's their 5th birthday celebration, so it's not a local yarn shop. It's a local-ish yarn shop, like maybe 90 minutes away from me, and it's their 5th birthday. So some of my favourite dyers or people that I've met or become friends with are going to be there. So Susan from Ash and Eve is going to be vending. We have Daffodil Road Yarn Company are going to be vending. I can't remember the rest of the list, but they're really cool. If I remember, I'll pop them here. So my plan is, I've never actually like properly vlogged on a camera a yarn festival, so content for you. And also, it's not a festival, it's literally like a pop-up at a shop, but it should be really good. And the Yarn Bowl, I think I have taken you through before, is a really cute little little shop in North Brisbane, in Banyo, I think is the suburb. So that'll be fun. Alrighty, what else have I got to tell you? Alright, so Westernits has released the name and the theme and the inspiration behind the MCAL for this year, which is, I don't remember, but it looks appealing. As you will remember, if you're a long-term viewer, we have an existential crisis every September. Do I, don't I, how are we gonna go? So I just like to remind myself, telling you how this MCAL business goes. $2020 Flipstravaganza, maybe, can't remember. Casting on, I'm working, Judy the night the first pattern comes out, got my yarn cakes wound, I take them to my workplace overnight, start to cast on, hate my colours, watch the whole first clue come out, definitely not for me. So we pause. 2021, I'm at uni, living back on the coast. Do I, don't I, not sure. We're zooming, still like COVID times, zooming every like 2 weeks, and then with our like online knitting group, we did an every week knit the night of the clue, or it was a Friday night for us, but the clue would come out like Thursday, or it would come out while we're zooming, and then we would, Kat from Oliphant Cat and I would like jump to the end of the pattern and see the clue and be like, thank goodness we're not knitting this. That was an adventure. 2022, I definitely was like not doing it, not interested. Where was I? Oh, I was overseas, and so I was trying to ask, I met Stephen and I was like, what am I getting while I'm here in your shop if I'm gonna do it? But I was backpacking, so I didn't buy anything. Went to, what's that thing called? Rhinebeck, didn't buy it, wasn't knitting, didn't happen. Last year, paralysis. Yes, I'm going to do it. No, I'm not going to do it. First clue gets relieved. I'm like, oh, I've got yarn that might work for this. I'm kind of going. And then we had all of the like drama around the first clue pattern and it, whatever. And then really glad. So what have we got? 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. It's the 5th year. I'm not doing it. Literally last night I put a message in one of my Instagram group of knitters that I'm in saying I'm actually tempted for the first time in 2 years this year. And then someone said to me, don't do it. A few people messaged me and said, you just got FOMO. I'm like, yes, I appreciate that. Thank you. I do have FOMO. I always have FOMO for like the first week. And then my chaotic like brain can't deal with the indecision, lack of planning, etc. But this year, if you are at all interested, there are going to be beautiful kits. Circus Tonics kits come out tomorrow. I think so, really like 2 days after this is released. Louie and Lola usually do a kit for it. Susan occasionally has done a kit before, I think. So there are plenty of dyes if you're looking to buy yarn for this MCAL to hit up in Australia. Beautiful, beautiful yarns. I had a suggestion from, I think it might have been Bobby, who is Platypus Knitting. Let me just check. What did Bobby say to me? Yes, it was Bobby. She said, I can't commit to the mystery, but I have considered doing one of his other shawls along with the MCAL. This theme sounds fun. And I said, I do want to make another exploration station. I'm looking at mine on the floor over there. And so I'm thinking what I might do instead is still cast on with everyone in October, but instead of doing the MCAL, I might knit another one of West Knits patterns. Exploration station was originally an MCAL pattern. So maybe I do that instead. So I guess wait around for next month and I tell you exactly what I'm doing. Maybe we'll do another like whip it down in September so that we can cast on for October. Who knows? Anyway, that's 4 minutes for a project I'm not casting on. Thank you for staying here with me with this hot mess of a brain. Alright, advents. Haven't bought an advent yet. Make 'em around just released some that's kind of like an intermediate, like a 12-day advent or something, so that is a consideration. I am going to do Vlogmas in some capacity, so I feel a bit weird not opening an advent doing Vlogmas. But I haven't bought any yarn yet this year. I've destashed a bit too. So, don't know. My advent knitting plans, don't know also. That leads me to my next thing. I'm thinking, I've mentioned it before at least twice. I would love if you tell me down below, are you interested in a bougie blanket knit along? 2 years ago I hosted the half and half wrap knit along, which is that free half and half pattern by Pearl Soho, mostly because I bought the yarn and I really wanted to give myself an excuse to like make me knit it, and I did. But I want to knit a couple of patterns. I've discussed this, floated the idea a bit with some other podcasters. We came up with a term like bougie blanket knit along or craft along. You could do a mal instead of a cow, make along. And so a bougie blanket could be an expensive blanket pattern. It could be expensive like hand dyed yarn. It could be like an intricate pattern. I have a whole bundle on Ravelry that is advent patterns, but I'm thinking, whoopsies. I'm thinking Jelly Roll. I've mentioned Jelly Roll before. I'm fairly certain, but I have like all of these yarns. The bag is from 2 years ago before I knew better. So anyway, we're just reusing, even though it comes from the bad place. I got these ones here, blues. I think this would be really cute. It's like pink, like different pinks and creams, and I've got, I did start this, you've seen this before, probably 2 years ago, but I felt like this, my favorite green I've ever seen. My Kobo cat is this color. I just felt like this was too harsh for a start. And then I've also got some 3 Cats minis that could go in it. I've got lots of, like, these were a pair of socks, leftovers, that I don't really know what to do with, and it would be good to do something with them. So, bougie blanket, maybe a jelly roll. I just got to kind of figure out the color placement, etc, etc. And I don't need another blanket. Do I use my blankets that I've knit very often? No. Here we are. I also want to make that zigzag blanket, which I have a pattern printed for as well. So, who knows? But if you would be interested in maybe next year knitting a bougie blanket, let me know in the comments below. And if there's enough interest, I will put some more thought into it and get some graphics sorted, and then maybe make it a thing and see if I can rustle up some prizes or some like participation kind of helpy incentives, or if there's something else you wouldn't mind knitting along. I like the idea of doing the knit along because it does give you the motivation. I think I've been talking about reknitting Exploration Station for a really long time, so I actually think maybe I will bite the bullet and actually do it in lieu of the MCAL. Alright, I've blathered on enough. I was hoping for a less than 20-minute video, but here we are at 22 minutes. So, reading, watching, listening. I have read several books, mostly that I've listened to through my local library on BorrowBox or Libby. The First Move by Emily Brooks, which is like a dating kind of just women book. The next one I've listened to is Accidental Feminist by Jane Caro. Super interesting. I love her work in media reporting as a journalist, so interesting book to read. I've also read Stolen Focus by Johann Hari, which many people had recommended probably like 2-3 years ago when the book first came out, and it was just too non-fiction-y for me. So I have been not listening to much non-fiction, but all of these books are non-fiction. I've read one hockey romance in the mix, but I haven't written that down to tell you because that's my trash. I read, it's not trash, it's just women's romance literature, and if you follow me on Goodreads you can find out what that was because I don't remember. And then lastly, The Year I Met My Brain by Matilda Bosley. So that's been really interesting. I have been watching lots of knitting vlogs and YouTube, so I'm catching up on Catherine, Mindful Melbourne Maker, been catching up with Bobby from Platypus Yarns, also Ali from Fiberbound, who did a like follow me knitting for a week, which was very good. She's much better at vlogging than I am, and I take lots of inspiration from her vlogs, so that was fun to watch. I've been catching up again with Stacey Elstone, who had her What I Made last month. Jude from Stranded, who is no longer doing Stranded, has just moved to a new house in Scotland, so I watched his the two vlogs I think that he had put up. And then I'm just trying to think, who else did I watch most recently? I don't remember. But that's mostly it. Listening to audiobooks and then my just usual podcast, except I started a new one today. If you like true crime and Australian true crime, you can listen to, it's by 9 podcasts. It's called The Ultimate Sacrifice, and it's about the murder of 6 people died, but like 2 police officers and a civilian in a property in central Queensland, and this happened in 2022, and the coronial inquest has just happened, and so I've been listening to that just today actually while I did all my chores. Alright, I'm actually really stoked with this lighting, noting it's 5 o'clock in the afternoon, but I'm glad to get this done now so I can edit and have it out to you sometime next week, depending on my schedule. Thank you for chatting along with me for the last 20 or so minutes. If you enjoyed what you see, please give this video a like. I've had some interesting analytics, like a couple of videos ago went massively popular, lots of people watched it, had lots of views, and then most of them are sitting around, you know, my normal 200 and so ish amount, which is lovely. I appreciate every single one of you, but if you do like what you see and you like it, or maybe even leave me a comment about something, then hopefully other people who are interested in Australian makers will be able to find it. I don't know if I said where you can find me online. I haven't. You can find me online on the internet as Madbelle on Ravelry. Anything I mentioned will be linked down below. You'll find me on Instagram as mad.about.you, E-W-E, and you can also find me over on my Etsy shop where I will crank your yarn into sock tubes as well, and that's Mad About You Studio over there. I think that's it. I love chatting with you in the comments. I will get to you eventually. Sometimes I turn the notifications off so that there's not too much stuff going on and I don't get too distracted from my real life, but I would love to have a chat with you about what you're making, or if you've got a comment about what I'm making, that would be fab. All right, see you next month. Thanks for following along. Bye.